You're watching and listening to Barrett and Baxa thanks to Riverside.fm. It's a podcasting platform with every tool you'll need to create great content. Here's the show. All right, everybody, welcome to I want to call it a special episode, but we've done it before. Guess what, everybody? We're bringing back Media Schmedia every once in a while.
Everyone loves Media Schmedia. So
People love Media Schmedia.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have only listened to the new 10 Minutes of Truth episodes, Media Schmedia is what we used to do, which was just a free-form conversation talking about whatever we wanted to. There was no hurry.
Right.
We didn't have to get anything done in any amount of time, and it was fun.
And we should tell people what happened was Bob Jordan, our mentor, our leader.
He's the mentor-in-chief.
Yes. Our friend
Modus.
Bob Jordan is the one who said, you guys are talking way too long, like way too long. You need to cut it by about 80%. And
I think most of that was directed at you, though, Bob.
Right. He is the one who invented 10 Minutes of Truth. We changed Media Schmedia to 10 Minutes of Truth. Bob was 100% correct. In today's world, the attention span of people is very, very short. So 10 minutes of truth is good. But this is also fun to periodically do.
And then Jordan asked us for money for the 10 Minutes of Truth, and we refused to give it to him. So we decided we're going back to Media Schmedia.
Yes, he did not do that.
Just kidding. In any case, welcome to Barrett and Baxa. If you have not subscribed and liked and commented on any of our stuff, please do it now. And there's my doorbell ring. You like my cute doorbell ring sound?
Yeah,
it's my doorbell ring sound. I'm going to shut it off real quick.
All right.
So in any case, we've been doing the 10 Minutes of Truth, right?
Yes.
And those are great. I love those episodes.
Absolutely.
But also we had a lot of people asking us, well, when are you going to go back to the other ones?
Right.
And so we hadn't had a plan to do that, but then we decided since it's the holidays, let's just give it a shot.
Yeah.
So you're going to get, I don't know whether this is going to be 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, however long we want to do it.
Steve and I, if you remember when we started this, like you think to yourself, like, how will we come up with enough stuff to talk about? And our problem was, how will we take the 4 hours that we talked and cut it down to 1 hour? Like, we don't have a problem filling time. So,
and then when we decided to do the 10 Minutes of Truth, we started leaving so much on the cutting room floor because we have this text that we do that we go back and forth and we just text each other stuff throughout the week. And a lot of it is hilarious, but a lot of it's just kind of a one-off. You know, you say it gives you about a minute of content, and that's about it. So this is our opportunity to get it all out of our system because
there's a lot going on.
Dude, I feel like I need to get it out of my system. I feel like I have missed just sitting here and laying back and taking our time.
But I want to say that I just listened to the Afton Bain episode, and I don't even think it's officially out yet. It's so good. So that's a 10 Minutes of Truth about this insane lunatic named Afton Bain, who is a woman running for the House of Representatives in
she's
Tennessee.
Running for, I think, State
and she
House.
Is straight up crazy. She's the kind of person that says that men can get pregnant. So she's insane.
And she goes out in her own car and trolls ICE agents.
Right, which I'm not even sure what is the point of that.
She barges into the governor's office thinking that she can just go scream at the governor whenever.
State police tackle her.
So by the time you hear this episode, the election, which is today, will be over and we'll know whether she won or not, Afton Bain.
God, it's crazy, man.
Even no matter what happens, it's absolutely worth going back and listening to those episodes. Yeah. Some of these 10 Minutes of Truth episodes were fantastic, by the way. You know, I mean, the Michelle Obama one is hilarious. I just I love that one, you know, and there's Donald Trump in the ballroom. Having a ballroom.
What was the one that my sister-in-law said it was our best episode ever? Maybe it was the Michelle Obama. I think it's called Hair.
It was the one. No, that was the one about Tucker Carlson.
Yes, and Nick Fuentes. Yes,
Nick Fuentes.
My sister-in-law thought that was our best episode ever, and that is a great episode.
Yeah.
Go find the episode about Nick Fuentes. we really didn't know who he was when we did that
Right.
episode. We barely knew who he was, and he's definitely a douchebag.
Yep.
And there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with him. The scary thing about him is that there are so many young men, and I mean, I know some of them, who take everything he says seriously. And it's really baffling to me. People who talk about the Jews are just so weird to me. Like there's no group called the Jews. Like
Right.
there are Jewish people in the world. Some of them are rich and they might be dicks, but
Right.
they're dicks because they're rich, not
Right.
because they're Jewish. The Jewish thing is like a side issue. If the guy's a rich dick, he's a rich dick in addition to being Jewish, not because he's Jewish.
But while we're talking about Jewish people, we do want to shout out to Richie Rich.
Yes.
From Delray, Rich Nodelman, good friend, and he loved the Schmedia episodes. He's one of the reasons that I said, okay, listen, we got to bring it back, because he likes to listen to us while he's working out. So if you're working out listening to this, hello, Rich Nodelman down in Delray Beach, Florida. The rest of you, we'd love to give you a shout out. Just get on our comments and comment and share our episodes. Please share. Pass the word around. We're doing great. We're actually, so I was talking, Bob, we were talking, so we have a publicist now. So
I know.
We have a woman, Ashley.
Like we know what we're doing.
Ashley Moyer is her name, and she's wonderful, and she's helping us to get some traction in the D.C. area with some of the news outlets, so you might see us popping up somewhere soon.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
On a television set near you, which is the kind of thing that we're used to, being two television guys. Right. Doing this on the internet is a little strange to us, and not having a script and not having someone in our ear saying rap. Right.
Yes. But I was good at rapping. I was very good. I could wrap it up quickly or stretch. Yeah. The other thing, the opposite of rap is stretch. And then you just have to come up with some other stuff to talk about.
And
if stretch
is
stretch.
This. Stretch is that. This is stretch,
rap.
And this is rap.
That's rap.
That's rap. Right. So that way no one even has to talk to you. We had sign language in television.
Yes.
Sign language. Right. But Bob, listen, we do want to do some Schmedia stuff, and I have a good one. It's great, and it's one of the things you can't get it in a 10 minutes of truth. Okay. But did you hear about this woman who called 911, said that a bald eagle dropped a cat through her windshield?
Oh, wait, maybe I did hear about that. Okay. Yeah. But I don't know anything about it. Is this real or is this like AI?
It is absolutely real. It is absolutely real. And I have a local television station clip that I want to play for you because it's hilarious. It's so small town local news that we are going to have a very good time watching this. Let me play it for you. And and I do believe that this happened. I do believe that this happened because I once had a bald eagle. I was actually at a drowning death. There was a drowning death. I was covering it in the Villages in Florida, and I was walking kind of through a field at the scene of this drowning death near the lake where it happened. And all of a sudden, a big fish, fell right in front of me and started flopping around on the ground. And I looked up, and there's this eagle that's circling around above me. Nice. So the eagle had dropped a fish almost on me, and the fish almost hit me. So I believe that this cat thing happened. And here we go.
Well,
I'm going to
all right. And then I'll tell you, we have kind of a little personal thing with this as well.
Okay. You could tell me that story after we laugh at this report.
All right. It's about cats and birds of prey.
A bank teller in North Carolina says she feels lucky to be alive after a bald eagle dropped its prey right onto her windshield.
Kimberly King with our Sinclair sister station in Asheville has her story.
28-year-old Melissa Schlarb was traveling eastbound here on 74, coming this direction from her home in Robbinsville.
Okay, I have to pause it. Because
this reporter, dude, seriously, come on,
dude, she's wearing the vest.
What is she
going down this road and took a left on the country road? You know, the one that goes by Lake Penetonka.
Why did she need to say any of that?
Any of that? Seriously. Why do we need to know that this woman is a bank teller? God. She was headed into town to her bank job, and her last name is Schlarb.
This reporter is not good. Sorry. She's not good.
Wednesday was supposed to be a normal morning for Melissa Schlarb.
So, I mean, I drive that road every single morning. I did see the bald eagle coming from a distance, and I'm not used to seeing them there. So I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
Seconds later, this.
I realized it had something with it. Once I realized it was a cat that it barely had a hold on it, and it dropped it right on my windshield. It sounded like a bomb went off.
Okay, you may not believe me, but I just had a bald eagle drop a cat through my windshield. It absolutely shattered my windshield.
I could see the cat in my passenger seat. I have guts all over me. There's glass everywhere. Thankfully, the cat was dead long before it ever hit my windshield. I could tell its insides were outside. A sheriff's deputy pulled up just to check on me, and 2 wildlife officers pulled up as well.
Melissa called her insurance.
You're going to be the talk of my entire division for quite a while. She's like, we never hear stories like this. But of course, insurance is a battle, so I'm trying to get them to, help.
Look at the guy with the guitar.
Why is he there?
Okay, wait. So I'm just going to pause for a second. Hold on. In the background, if you're not watching this on YouTube, which you should be, in the background, there's a guy walking along with a guitar.
Yeah.
So the cat has splattered all over the inside of the car. And 2 wildlife officers just happened to pull up on the side of this country road as she's headed to her bank job, Melissa Schlarb. I mean, this story is hilarious. Let's play it just a little bit longer here.
All right.
And then we'll be done.
Just definitely keep your eyes peeled. Even the things you don't expect to happen, they will.
Melissa so far is frustrated with her insurance company. They've told her so far that the tow will not be covered. She says she's going to keep calling back with the hope that at least the windshield will be covered in this freak wreck. Reporting from Bryson City.
That is a hometown.
That is a
small town news story.
And that reporter, let's face it, she was not a very young woman. Like, she's not moving.
She's been at that station a long time.
A long time. She will finish out her career at that station. She's not going anywhere.
And I bet she gets recognized every time she walks in the grocery store.
Oh,
she gets recognized. And I'm sure those people love her. And I'm sure she's a wonderful person, Bob.
And most people think that cats are too big to be picked up by birds of prey. And for the most part, they are. But we have 4 cats and we live in the woods and there are animals big time. And one of our cats had puncture wounds on his back. And we think they're clearly from talons. Like, we think maybe an owl, like a great horned owl, which are gigantic, tried to pick up our cat and was unable to. But the cat had evenly spaced puncture wounds, which were pretty obviously from a bird. So the death comes from above.
You're watching and listening to Barrett and Baxa thanks to Riverside.fm. It's a podcasting platform with every tool you'll need to create great content. Now, back to the show. So, Bob, Rachel Maddow showed up at Dick Cheney's funeral last week.
Yes, I love that.
Is that not
how can anyone? It's so bizarre what Trump has done to these people. I mean, it's because of Trump. Trump has caused Rachel Maddow to go to Dick Cheney's funeral. That's why she's there. She's there because of Trump. There's no other reason. Because
she wants to show that, hey, Dick Cheney was a real regular politician.
Right. But Rachel Maddow despises Dick Cheney. You can find
all the media despised him.
Correct. Hours of footage of Rachel Maddow trashing Dick Cheney. They all despise Dick Cheney. And then Dick Cheney says Donald Trump is a dick, and they're immediately in love with Dick Cheney. It's really unbelievable how everything is connected to Donald Trump. How did someone get Rachel Maddow to go to Dick Cheney's funeral?
Did you see the picture of her did you see somebody capture that picture where she just looks like kind of deer in the headlights? Like she's even confused about why she's there.
She's there
it's
because
like,
she
I
hates
just
Donald
woke
Trump.
up and I'm at Dick Cheney's funeral. How'd this happen?
It's so bizarre. It really is. What this guy has done to these people. They are, they're broken. They are absolutely broken by Trump, and they can't repair themselves. It's kind of crazy, actually.
And the AP is being sued by the Trump administration now because they still refuse to use Gulf of America.
Oh, this is dumb. I'm kind of thinking this one's pretty dumb. I don't know.
I'm almost with them. It's like, you know what? If we don't want to use Gulf of America, we don't have to.
Yeah, you should just let them call it whatever you want.
Their argument is that they are an international news service. So
okay.
it's not like they're CBS.
Is the name officially now the Gulf of America? Like, how does that
in the
even
United States.
All
so
right,
it is
so
in
it
the United States. And so Google, if you're in Mexico and you look at the map, I think it still says Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
And if you are in Texas, it says Gulf of America.
Okay.
So,
you can make a good argument for why it should be Gulf of America, and I think it should be. I mean,
it's been Gulf of Mexico before the United States even existed.
Correct.
So, I mean, the Gulf of Mexico name goes
names
back to like the 1500s or something like that.
Right. But I mean, Manhattan used to be called New Amsterdam or something. So things get their names changed all the time. But I think this is kind of a dumb one. And I don't think Trump should be suing the AP. Like, that's ridiculous. But, these are the types of things that people get so worked up about with Trump. I just kind of feel like, hey, if you're going to get worked up over everything that Trump says, like, you're going to, he just used the R word, the word retarded. You're not supposed to use, and I actually
unless it's
feel
music.
that you shouldn't. Yeah.
No,
you should
shouldn't.
not say you should not call developmentally disabled people retarded, and you shouldn't use that word. I fully think that, but like, that's the latest controversy, and Trump called Tim Walz. Now, if there's ever a person who should be called that word, it would be Tim Walz.
Which brings me
kind of
that is the perfect segue to what I was going to bring up next, which is this crazy fraud situation in Minnesota that now Walz is all caught up in. I mean, this could cost him his third term.
Right.
Introducing Governor Tim Walz, the Fraud Edition, the only action figure with blame-shifting action. Flick up the foam finger and he points at anyone but himself.
Well, it's 100% his fault. He's the governor. And can he even run for? Is there a term limit?
Yeah, you can run as many times as you want. Yeah, there's no term limit.
So,
it's sort of like Buddy Dyer being the mayor of Orlando.
In Orlando, he's
like
been there for 90
mayor.
years.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's been there at least 20 years.
Right. Tim Walz is at fault for all of this. He's the governor, and he was asked about it on Meet the Press, and he's like, I am responsible for sending people to jail. No, you're not, Tim. These are federal charges. So you had nothing to do with anyone going to jail. All of this fraud happened on your watch. Yes, they are all Somalis, and that's his other point. Well, they're not all Somalis. Out of 87
Apparently
people arrested, the number I saw was 78 were Somalis. So that's about 95%.
And they're so afraid in the Twin Cities area to say anything bad about the Somali population.
I know.
Even
what is that all
the
about?
police chief came out and was complaining that there are these young bands of these little gangs of youth running around and
roving Somalis.
Yeah, and he had to come out and apologize to say, "Oh, well, I'm sorry if I offended you," and all of this.
I hate that so much.
This is where you need a Grady Judd,
no doubt,
in your town, or a Mike Chitwood, one of those Florida sheriffs or police chiefs that just says it just like it is.
If there's 20 crimes in a row, let's say there's 20 violent crimes and all 20 of them were committed by Somalian people. And if a cop comes out and says, hey, the last 3 weeks, there has been a shitload of crime committed by Somalis, like they're really doing a lot of crime. Is that racist? Like, you're just stating a fact. You're allowed to point out facts. But to the left, a leftist will come out and say, well, there has been the last 20 crimes were committed by Somalis, but we don't want to demonize our entire Somali population. There are so many good Somalians here that we don't want to let these 20 for the last month, 3 months, it's been nothing but Somalis committing crimes. We don't want to let that sort of color the whole community. I'll never understand that mindset. Like, why can't you just point out reality? And the reality is the Somalis commit a lot of crime, and they come from a fraudulent country where crime is rampant. It's a failed state, essentially, and they've come to America, and they're behaving in the same way. It's the easiest thing in the world to predict, to use my favorite phrase.
Well, yeah, that is your favorite phrase. And we haven't been hearing it as much now that we weren't doing Media Schmedia.
Right.
So, and here's the thing, though. In Minnesota here, it boils that sort of anti-criminal immigrant thing down to one specific population. Whereas in a lot of other communities, it's whatever, whether they're from Mexico, whether they're from Central America, South America, Africa, wherever. It doesn't matter. If they're criminals, they've got to go, right? That's the way it ought to be. So that brings me to this poor guy. Speaking of Minnesota again, this guy is a professor, a computer science professor, University of Minnesota here, and his identity was stolen. His name is Daniel Kluver.
Yeah.
Kluver.
I heard about this.
I think. Yeah. So he had his identity stolen from some immigrant, illegal immigrant, who stole his identity, got jobs in his name, didn't pay his taxes, got in a car wreck, killed someone, just on and on and on. All these things kept happening. This poor guy, Daniel Kluver, at one point even paid like $6,000 in IRS fines just because it was such a pain in the butt. But now he's speaking out about it.
Yeah.
And it's getting a lot of attention. In fact, the New York Times did a story about it.
Yes, I was just going to say,
which is a
we have to
thing.
use their headline is so effing good, dude.
Yeah.
About this.
Find that
so
headline for me. One of the things that really got me was when they said that the illegal immigrant borrowed this man's identity. He was borrowing it. He was going to give it back when he was done with it. No
we
harm,
will find
no
the
foul.
headline in. Yeah, we'll insert it in. But essentially, the headline was like, an immigrant stole an American citizen's identity, and both of their lives have been turned upside down. And it's like, no, this is the left's. They're constantly wanting to turn criminals into victims. There's one victim here, the American who got his identity stolen. The guy who stole his identity, and I think he actually might be Mexican, not Somali. The guy who stole his identity is not a victim. Sorry, no, he's a criminal. There's a criminal and a victim. The person who does the act is the criminal. The victim is the victim. But the left wants to look for any reason to make the criminal into a second victim. And the New York Times, right in the headline, is
Bob
calling it two victims. That there's two victims here.
Being the crack podcast host and producer and director all in one. I have found
you have it? Nice.
Said headline, and here's what it says. Two men, one identity. They both paid the price.
That's awesome. They did not both pay the price. It's two men. One's a criminal. One is a victim. One paid the price. The other one needs to go to prison.
Should pay the price. The other needs to pay the price. Right. And the article goes on to say that thousands of undocumented workers rely on fraudulent Social Security numbers. Well, this has been the argument the whole time. Everybody's like, well, how could they vote? How can they do this? How can they get a driver's license? Well, they're relying on fraud. They're basically stealing my identity and being Steve Barrett.
And screwing up your life because he's committing crimes and doing all kinds of crazy shit with this guy's identity. Mm-hmm. And like you said, this guy actually, at some point, he tried to pay a certain amount of money just to settle one of the claims that were not done by him.
They were done by an illegal immigrant from Guatemala by the name of Romeo Perez Bravo. Let me say that properly. Romeo Perez Bravo.
Bravo.
I have to do the accent.
You have to roll the R's.
Yeah.
So Romeo is not a victim. Romeo's a criminal.
He had IRS fines. He had his paychecks garnished. And this Perez Bravo assumed several identities over decades of living illegally in the United States. So you're telling him, and also racked up multiple drunk driving charges. He was deported 3 times. So come on, tell me, this is a guy that we want in the country. Come on.
Of course not.
This is taking advantage of
this guy, Dan Kluge or whatever, Kluge. Imagine the nightmare. When you get a letter from the IRS and you know that you had used kind of a questionable tax strategy, and then the IRS sends you a letter and they're like, yeah, that didn't work, and now you owe us, $9,500. Think of how freaked out you are when you know you did it. Now, Imagine the letter when all of a sudden the IRS is like, yeah, that thing you did, you
that
owe us
lawn mowing service
$17,000
that you worked for 2 years
you're
in
like,
Michigan.
wait, what? I don't know what you're talking about. And of course, the IRS doesn't give a shit. They just want their money. And I mean, this guy his life has been made a nightmare because this illegal stole his identity. And again, I would love to hear, we've asked this question on 10 Minutes of Truth, also on Media Schmedia. Explain to me how it's making the United States better for a guy to sneak in, steal an identity, and rack up drunk driving charges and, fraudulent
Well, not only rack
activity.
up drunk driving charges, dude, he killed a grandfather who was out walking with his granddaughter.
Unbelievable.
Struck and killed this guy. And the Times actually interviewed Perez Bravo, who said he's fearful of being discovered by the second Trump administration.
He's fearful that his crimes will be discovered.
It appears to me that let me see, this would be the Bush administration deported him, and the Obama administration would have deported him, I think, twice. Yeah, 2008, 2009, 2005, 2008, 2009. All those times deported. So Bush and Obama deported him. But now he's afraid of Trump.
Right.
That's who he's afraid of. It's
Crazy.
so ridiculous.
It's a crazy
story. It's a perfect it's a perfect example of how the victims become, or how suspects become the victims, how they have to find this new victim group, much like the trucker episode, which is a great episode as well. If you want to watch a 10 Minutes of Truth, watch the one about the truckers.
The Sikh truckers.
The Sikh truckers.
Several Sikhs have done crazy shit in their truck, and the real story, according to the leftist media, is that other Sikhs might feel bad because people might think they did something wrong. So don't worry about the dead American bodies. Those are irrelevant. The real victim here is the other Sikh drivers who might get a dirty look from someone on the road. Like, this is what the left-wing media does. Like, they want to turn the criminal into a secondary victim.
Right.
It's unbelievably annoying.
And what I like about this Media Schmedia episode is it's a good chance for us to point at all those other great episodes that we have been doing.
That is.
Because we have been doing some really good ones. So watch.
Yes, we have.
Yeah. So listen, I think our harebrained episode, which was about Michelle Obama complaining about white girl hair and how she has to try to have white girl hair all the time.
Have you seen all the comments on TikTok,
we got
by
some,
the way?
Listen, we got some action. Before you say that, we did get some action in Pennsylvania that someone sponsored a bill called... It's called Crown, the Crown Bill.
The Crown
Bill stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. Well, that doesn't spell crown.
Right. They had to, it's called a backronym, is when you come up with a thing that you wanted to say, and then you have, you have to find a way to turn it into a
Did you make that term up?
No, that is a known term, a backronym.
I don't know backronym.
Yeah,
That's
it's real.
Funny.
But we've gotten a lot of TikTok comments on that episode, and people are very angry with us. People, of course, point out that we're old. Like, we know
TikTok
we're old.
hates
There's
us.
a lot of gray hair here. They're constantly talking about how old we are. They were very angry.
I think it's hilarious that they think that an old guys like us,
like we didn't
grew
know
up
we were
drinking
old?
out of the hose when we were kids, and fun was throwing rocks at your brother. I happen to be the brother getting rocks thrown at him. But I mean, we would be put outside to play, and you didn't come home until the sun came down.
Yeah, there was no screen.
They think that like some internet insult is going to upset us.
I know,
But we did fall in on TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, please find us and give us a little conservative love, because we fell into the liberal pit.
I know,
cesspool of hell, and
they
so
hate us.
They hate
My
us.
best
on
girl
TikTok.
gets sad about how much the people on TikTok hate us.
But they still click on our stuff.
That's all that matters.
They still watch our shorts.
Right.
Hey, a guy named Adolf Hitler is running for office. Yeah.
Really? Is that real?
Yeah. He's
Where's this?
It's in Africa somewhere. Let me
No
find
way.
it real
Is he a
quick.
black dude?
Yeah, it's actually his first and his middle name. Someone
Adolf Hitler.
called him, his parents named him. Yeah, his name is Adolf Hitler Unona.
Right. He's African.
Yeah, he's an African politician, and in Nambia, he's a local Nambian politician. Adolf Hitler Unona. That's
nice.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that is good.
Very good. He's a longtime member of Nambia's ruling SWAPO party.
Is it Nambia or Namibia? Are you pronouncing it correctly?
Oh yeah, Namibia. What did I say? Nambia.
Namibia. Yeah. You're thinking of Narnia. Like the Chronicles of Narnia.
I am thinking of Narnia.
This is Namibia. There you go. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have?
Oh, well, I mean, that's almost the end of my list. There's also the chicken soup Nazi guy. The guy got in trouble at Campbell's Soup for complaining that their soup is cheap and for poor people.
Oh, that's right. And he works there.
I think he's going to be
there.
Yeah, he's like the chief information officer or something like that. And I think he's sidelined, man. I think they suspended him. Martin Bally is his name. Martin Bally.
So I want to bring this up real quick because I thought this was really interesting. An Oklahoma student was flunked by her TA after touting Christian beliefs in a gender essay. And I think this one is really interesting because this is coming from Fox News, of course. A University of Oklahoma student who received a 0 out of 25 on an assignment regarding gender norms says she was targeted for her Christian beliefs, citing a scathing response from the TA who doled out the grade. So the important thing to know here is that this assignment, she's a pre-med student, a junior, Samantha Fulnecki. She was asked to read an article and give her opinion on the article. The assignment was to give your opinion. The article was about gender binary and mental health and gender stereotypes, specifically in children, because the class is a lifespan development class. So she says to Fox News Digital, she was asked to give her opinion and her reaction to the paper. So this girl is a Christian. She basically said what you might expect a young Christian woman to say, which is that there are only two genders, and you can't, it's not possible to change your sex. And the TA who uses she and they pronouns was not happy with this
at
paper.
Least if you're going to do it, at least make a choice. She
right,
and they.
She or they. How can you be one and also multiple people? It seems very difficult to me. But I thought this was interesting, and the university is now involved. And, of course, now that it's getting all this, all this attention. Yeah. But here's the thing. If the paper was asking for an opinion, which apparently it was, they've actually showed the assignment, then you're allowed to have a Christian opinion. You're allowed to say, I mean, at one point she said that it's quote unquote demonic to think that a child would be allowed to change their sex. And this was apparently was the thing that really enraged this teaching assistant.
The demonic
line.
And
she said it's very hurtful and offensive to call this ideology demonic. But I really love that she says that it's going against all the psychiatric and medical and, pediatric and all of these organizations. But the thing to remember on these kinds of things is that all of these organizations like the American Pediatric Association, the American Psychiatry Association, those associations, we learned this during COVID, they have all been captured by the left. So when you have a paper and then the American Psychiatric Association comes out and says, oh yeah, that thing that you said is totally legitimate, or comes out and says, no, that thing is absolutely illegitimate. It has there's no authority whatsoever. Just because a professional association says it, it's all political.
Acronym.
It's all political. We learned during COVID that a political outcome is determined. Whatever is the correct political outcome. And then studies, like we saw this over, I keep saying, we saw this with COVID. Study that supports the political outcome
gets
That's
buried.
a study that's used. A study that refutes the outcome is buried at best, or total, is just criticized heavily and refuted and said to be bad science. I mean, we saw this over and over again with masks. We saw this with the vaccine efficacy. And it's the same thing with gender ideology. Just because these professional organizations are on the side of, yes, a 7-year-old can change their gender, does not make it true. They've all been captured by the left. So I thought that was kind of an interesting story. We'll have to watch that, see what happens.
All right. Bob, can we have fun with headshots?
Yes.
Can we look at your headshots quick? I don't have mine. So we're only going to be making fun of you.
Okay, but there's some really funny ones.
So you're seeing this right here is Katie Jackson. I think she did a great job with you, Bob.
She did.
So we all got headshots because at one point, or both got headshots.
Right.
Like there's 10 of us or something.
Right.
All.
How many of us?
We both got headshots.
We both got headshots.
And just in case we end up like on network news, which is going to be happening. These are for the network. Now look at it. In the beginning, they look great. Look, you're looking good. You're looking good.
The serious is
then
not
we
working.
Get to like this one right here. That one.
I look angry.
Yeah. And then there you are smiling again. And then as
she had me lean forward for some reason.
Look at this.
Sure
you're playing with you're fiddling with your
She said, look down like you're checking your watch. And then I had to hold my jacket was another thing I had to do.
Yeah, there you are holding your jacket. But then the woman that I hired had me do similar poses. Look at the praying.
Why am I praying?
This is Bob
so
praying.
Embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
Bob's saying his prayers right now.
This is very embarrassing.
This is good.
What are you gonna do,
dude? I love this one, dude. This is just like Napoleon Dynamite. When they're doing the glamour shots, and she's like, "Look, pretend that there are stars swirling around you." Is that what she said, Bob?
No, she didn't. But I thought the days of caring about my physical appearance were over. Like I used to have to care so much about my physical appearance that I put on makeup every day, and I thought those days were over. And now here I am having to worry about my physical appearance. But
Bob, you know, I'll tell you what, you look good. These are good pictures. I like these pictures.
I'm an old man. I have my best girl.
That's a great picture of you right there,
Thank
Bob.
you. I'm not going to be dating anymore.
Nice.
My best girl is my last girl ever.
The final girl.
My best girl is the final girl. If things don't work with her, I will just be alone for the rest of my life. But things are going to work with my best girl. She's the final one. So I don't really care what I look like. I'm not that worried about it. I'll just be an old guy.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah.
You know what? This has been fun. I don't know that we're out of things. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on this episode of Media Schmedia?
I think we can wrap it up.
All right. Well, you know what? Like we said earlier, I know I've got something going on in my throat.
Here's a really good one. I forgot about this.
Okay.
I think this might be a want. If you guys know, a want is we only need the headline. So here's the headline. Man arrested in the UK for posing with a gun while he was on holiday in the US. This is real. So a British citizen visited relatives in Florida. They took him to a gun range. He shot a shotgun. They took a picture of him shooting a shotgun. He posted it on the internet. He got back to the UK and police arrested him at the airport for, I forget the exact name of the crime, but it's like displaying firearms with the intent to cause distress to others or something.
That is absolutely ridiculous. He has been a UK arrested. Citizen. So this is where the left is taking us
the
in the United States. They want to take us there so that
no doubt
it's just complete speech police.
Here's the crime.
Police.
The bail document mentioned, and the allegation is possessing a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence. So it's a crime in the UK to cause someone else to be afraid of what you're doing. So if I put on a scary mask and you become afraid, I could be arrested because I caused you fear with my act. And this guy he's been arrested for causing fear in other people by posing with a shotgun. Yeah, and this is what the left wants.
That in England, they are doing this.
They have fallen as a country. I mean, if you can't pose with a gun in another country and without getting arrested, like that one really struck me as crazy.
And here you're allowed to
hope they turn it around.
You're allowed to be shooting at your ceiling and doing whatever you want here. It's
Maybe
crazy.
not shooting at your ceiling, but you are allowed to shoot at a gun range. You can certainly pose with your guns. So, I don't know.
So, Bob, we're going to wrap this up, but I'm serious. We need to do soon, and we will soon do a couple of things. Number one, coming up probably later this week. Let's try and do it Friday. How about? We'll put this out on Thursday, and on Friday, let's try to go live. We're going to go live on Facebook, TikTok.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Not TikTok. Forget, they hate us there.
Facebook.
We'll do Facebook. We'll do
YouTube.
X. We'll do YouTube. How about that on Friday?
Live show
Are you
Friday.
up for it? Live show on Friday. All right.
Let's do it.
You want to give it a time yet?
Probably we shouldn't do the time yet. We'll talk about that.
We won't do the time
air.
yet. We will. Yeah, we will talk about that. Oh, and also, we're preparing 2 good episodes for you. So we're going to start doing this thing. We're going to talk about the history of the way American media failed us, and really media worldwide. And the 2 that we're going to start with is the fall and the end for the major 3 network anchor situation. When we all used to listen to 3 different guys, you had your network, you either had CBS, ABC, or NBC, and you either had Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw or Peter Jennings.
Yeah,
and
for ages, those were the 3 guys.
Yeah, we're gonna do 2 stories about how that whole system started to collapse, and it began with Dan Rather, and it started in 2004 and sort of ended with someone who was supposed to be the next big main anchor, Brian Williams, and now his fall from grace happened. So watch out for those 2 episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks. Hey, and also subscribe to that 10 Minutes of Truth. It's an easy way, quick 10 minutes, sitting in the doctor's office. You can listen to it. Media Schmedia, this is more for your workout or your drive to work.
Correct.
So, all right.
Thanks for listening. Hit subscribe and do all that stuff.
We love all of you, and we're doing great, man. We're growing, and we can't be more thrilled with the way this is happening.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we'll see you next
time. Take care,
time.
everybody. You don't want to miss an episode of Barrett and Baxa, 10 Minutes of Truth, or Media Schmedia. And don't forget our bonus episodes. Like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe now.